Hello, everyone, and welcome to North Carolina. We are right at the foot of the Blue Ridge Mountains in the small town of Marion, just about an hour and a half away from the city of Charlotte, at the North Cove Disc Golf and Leisure Club for the 2023 Innova Blue Ridge Championships. Take a look here at the Canna current conditions. A little bit misty on the mountains this morning. 57 degrees, a little bit chilly, humidity is high, very misty out there. Again, players having to deal with some moisture this morning. Wind is down, which actually plays a huge factor at this course. It can pick up throughout the day. And there is our last week's champion, Kristen Tatar, taking it down at the Music City Open. She is definitely the end. And we are back here in the DGN booth. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here by five-time disc golf world champion Juliana Korver. Juliana, this place is exquisite. North Cove is such an incredible property. The players have truly loved playing here this week. But let's talk Kristen specifically. She looked fantastic last week. She looks to be obviously the favorite this week as well.
Oh, she sure is. You know, with her command of both spins and her easy power from circle two, she really stands above the rest of the crowd.
And let's take a look at some highlights of Kristen. She has definitely put a show on all season, winning 2 events way earlier than she did last year, which everyone considers to be one of the best seasons of all time. She is still on track for yet another historic year. And like you said, both spins very competently. She's throwing the backhand very well. The release point looks solid. As you see here on hole number 7, just throwing a beautiful up the gut shot. I mean, what can you do at this point to beat her, Juliana?
You need to be as consistent, if not more, than she is, and that's a hard thing to do. She is so good off the tee. She's nearly top of the field in gaining strokes tee to green, and she's very close to the top in her putting abilities as well. So she has it all.
Well, she better start practicing the guitar if she wants to be the best player in the division. What a trophy last week. But let's take a look. I mean, 2 wins already this year, and people were talking like she was not playing as well as last year. What's that all about, Juliana?
Well, unfortunately, once somebody reaches the top, then they have to live up to everybody else's expectations, and that can sometimes be very hard. We have a recency bias, and we just expect her to always be number one, since she did so often last year, and that's pretty unfair. I mean, as we look at the stats, she is already doing better than last year, even though we have harped on that 5th place.
Disc Golf Pro Tour Innova Blue Ridge Championship at North Cove. This is our first day chase card. Welcome to T-Pad 1, Erica Stinchcomb.
It's a 306-foot par 3 OB all around the basket. You have to watch your landing here.
Fantastic control.
Welcome to T-Pad 1, Kristen Tatar.
Very solid looking release point there with the backhand. That's a good sign.
These women are making this hole look easy, and it is not.
Ronsley.
Another player with a lot of power, forehand and backhand, former Ultimate player. It's nice to see her in the spotlight this week. Very nice. And Juliana, how much room do they really have to throw?
It is not. It's over 40 feet. Actually, it's more like 70 feet, but it doesn't play that much because there's a downhill component. So you have to get over the river on the front side of the green, and then make sure that you don't fall into the river on the back side.
Ariel Walker from Charlotte, North Carolina. Discraft thrower plants the hyzer on the island. This is her very first Disc Golf Pro Tour event, and we will just have to see how she does this week. But let's zoom back here. Spicy shot of the opening of the tournament. Kristen Tatar, perfect backhand with the slow disc. I'm sweating. That was quite the spicy shot. The Halal guys strive to delight each customer with unparalleled hospitality and mouth-watering food at great prices. And they provide wonderful shots like that from Kristen Tatar. While they're walking up to the green, let's take a look at the UDisc course close-up. Juliana, what a property.
Oh, absolutely. There's been a lot of hype, and for very good reason, around this beautiful property for a few years now. North Cove is nestled into the picturesque mountains of western North Carolina. It has been the home of the College Nationals for the last 2 years. There are 3 courses on site. They go by the names of the Rivers, the Gorge, and Boulders. The women are playing Boulders course. There are a lot of birdies opportunities out here, but the danger looms very close on many of the baskets.
UDisc and Trash Panda have teamed up for the International Course Cleanup Weekend, and it's next weekend. Go to udisc.com/events to find a cleanup near you or create your own. Bring that goodness to your home course. Fantastic partnership there. And what I find interesting, Juliana, is it was designed by Andrew Duvall, who is doing a lot of work out at Winthrop Gold in years past. So we're going to see some USDGC style disc golf this week, it looks like.
I think that's true, and I think that's going to be even more evident on the men's side of things.
Ariel Walker's just going to lay up that one. A little bit risky. Erica for birdie.
It can be hard to get the disc up in the air on a raised basket with the additional elevation from the topography.
And this looks like a fantastic place to land your drive on this hole. Going a little long gives you what Erica had, and this is what putting it a little short gives you.
Beautiful start.
Stacy's been out here on the road for quite some time, at least a few years now, and she definitely has the physical skill and I guess the balance too. She avoids slipping. And that's a great way to start your round. Kristen Tatar tap in for birdie. There are a lot of slopes out here, a lot of rocky areas. When it does get wet, it is tough to traverse this place, that's for sure. Players are going to tap out. We're getting a slow-mo on the Stacy Ronsley slip. This is not a shot at Stacy's dexterity. This is more showing you what the course is going to look like today.
And the camaraderie amongst the players.
Exactly. And again, let's talk again for people tuning into the first time for a silver event. Juliana, a little bit of change here to the way these are laid out in regards to the rest of the series.
Yes, they count more than they did last year. Twice as many points as were available last year. So the winner of a silver series this year will get 50 points, whereas last year it was 25. That definitely encourages players to come out and play more of the silver events.
Yeah, I agree. I think last year and the years prior with the Silver Series, as it was called, it wasn't as enticing to go out there and play against a really tough field to only get a handful of points. So I think this year this is a very appropriate number to assign to these events. And obviously right now we do have a solid field, but we do have some players that have moved on to the major in Georgia already to prepare. But you're still going up against Kristen Tatar this week. It's the field is just as strong as ever.
One thing that I like about the field this week is not only do we have, our best player, Kristen, but we also have, I believe, 5 players who are brand new to the DGPT. So we had space for some of the more regional players to come in and try their hand at this level.
And we're going to jump over to hole number 2. Juliana, what are we seeing on this beautiful looking par 4?
This is a 546-foot hole. The fairway is obviously lined by the river on the right-hand side. The OB line is not at the water's edge, however. You can see it just on the top of the ridge there. So players can really choose how aggressive they want to be by how much of that OB they want to attack. The basket is lined very closely by the out of bounds. The first tree on the right-hand side of the basket is inbounds. The next tree behind it is out. The tree directly behind the basket is out of bounds as well. So you really need to know where that OB line is because it's not always intuitive near the basket.
Kristen going aggressive right over the OB power hyzer. And sticks that one in play. For those of you who don't know a lot about North Cove and this beautiful disc golf property, used to be a traditional golf course. No longer is it a golf course, only disc golf specific. Stacy goes big over the water.
Even a little more aggressive on Stacy's line.
Yeah, I like the shape of this tee shot. It definitely rewards you for carrying the water farther than your competitors. Sticks that one in the middle of the fairway. And fairway hits are going to be a huge indicator of who is going to be near the top. Bit of turn out of the hand for Ariel. Lands that one right in the middle. Haven't seen a lot of Ariel Walker before, but her throw is looking solid.
It's amazing to me how so many of the young players can get to such a high level so quickly these days.
And for those of you watching on YouTube, if you want to catch more of the action, make sure to subscribe to the Disc Golf Network. We have a major coming up next week. Lots of disc golf action this year, more than ever before. European events, silver events, all 3 rounds covered now. You'll definitely be getting your money's worth there. Subscribe to the Disc Golf Network. And these times that we're showing you on the screen here, these are the broadcast times all week. Consistent all 3 rounds. 3 p.m. we will be back with the men's action. And again, 9:30 a.m. every day for the FPO. Going off of your point, Juliana, it is pretty incredible how quickly players are able to pick up the game and the throwing mechanics. They have more to study than ever before, and Ariel obviously is a testament to that.
That is not safe. She pulled that too far to the right. Did not come back in bounds.
Standard OB rules are going to apply here. And we're going to see a lot of baskets perched up by the water this week, aren't we going to, Juliana?
Oh my gosh, so many of them are so close to the water's edge or to the OB line. So is going to take precision around the green.
Yeah, and also, as we see Erica playing to the safe side of the green, it's going to help to have both spins here as well. I mean, you're going to have Kristen being able to throw forehand and creep just a little bit closer than Erica having to play safe with the backhand.
Those who can safely put their disc around circle's edge and then confidently step up and make that putt will have an advantage as well.
Kristen doing exactly what we were saying, just leaking it outside of circle one and trickling it into the circle. She's 15 feet away for birdie. I think the fact also, Kristen's huge advantage here, she's so good at throwing these stock forehand shots, and her OB percentage is by far the best in the division. And on a course like this with baskets this close to the out of bounds, man, she's going to be really tough to beat playing like that.
We often see her put that forehand approach right under the pin. And if she can stay that consistent, then she can stay her normal amount of aggressiveness towards the basket and thus not really have to change her game because of the danger that's so close to the baskets.
Stacy's second, little bit short, kind of tentative on that one. Still going to be an up and down for a par if she wants it. And let's go to the seventh hole here. Sarah Hokum. Long forehand turnover. That's going to be safe in play. Great shot. Let's take a look at the full screen scores. Sarah is shooting fantastic, 4 under through 6 holes. But look at this scoring. We're seeing players get under par, attack this course, even in less than favorable conditions.
As I mentioned, there are a lot of birdie opportunities out here, and it's great to see so much blue already on the scorecard.
First, we're seeing the forehand from Ariel, and that's right under the pin. Great shot. And our feature card waiting to tee off on hole number 1. Evelina and Henna, Owen Scoggins, Emily Beach. Should be a great round. 4 players, kind of differing play styles. Should be quite an exciting card to watch. And Stacy's lining up a real long circle 2 look. She's on the safe side.
Very good effort. Beautiful line, just a little too high.
Stacy's come a long way. She's really been working on her game over the years, and she said she's worked on her mental game more than anything and took down Crush the Concho this year. She said it was a very big moment for her. As Erica lines up the shallow stepper from C2 with the OB behind for birdie. Almost danger.
The OB to the right of the pin is only about 12 feet from the basket, so that might have rolled OB.
And it does have her putting for bogey from circle 1, unfortunately. Did trickle just over the edge. That is so close to the basket.
It's not the only basket that's that close to out of bounds. Makes you think about it, that's for sure.
Most definitely. I mean, and even thinking about your upshots, I'd rather have the long putt from where Stacey Ronsley was at than edge of C1 looking at the water.
Exactly. Yeah, you really need to think about where you want to land the disc on the approaches and how much.
And as our second card taps out, we are going to throw it to a quick commercial break. We'll be back with the lead card in just a few here on the Disc Golf Network.
Welcome to the Innova Blue Ridge Championship at North Cove. North Cove is a 157-acre disc golf facility nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina. 2 of the 3 courses in this year's event, Boulders and the Gorge, present a mix of challenging play and epic views. Enjoy the coverage, and afterward, make your plans to come visit Marion, North Carolina, and experience the magic that is North Cove.
Should have brought some snacks.
I got you.
Ah!
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Oh, Karen, do you know where hole 17 is?
I got you!
Is that a compass? Karen, why do you have this?
Ethan, just help me. We gotta get this set up.
Okay.
It's getting dark.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Here we are at the International Disc Golf Center. The course is just shining for the competitors.
This place means a lot. It's the type of course that where as soon as you think you have it figured out, it shows its teeth.
At a major tournament, there's a different kind of feeling.
Make your career go to the next step. You need to win a major.
We show where we came from and hopefully show where we're going. Events like this weekend.
Kyle Klein stepping up for the birdie on 18.
Your Open champion, Gannon Burr.
Another record-setting weekend on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Back-to-back weeks. Winner coming from the chase card. Pretty special stuff. Gannon Burr, Kyle Klein, 2 young superstars on tour, showing you how to get it done.
I think this golfing can improve our community in many ways. It brings people together.
That maybe some of these kids who feel a little bit lost could find something like disc golf, find friends, find people to come together and play the sport.
Encouraging people to work together, kids to know one another, love one another.
A way for these kids to have a really fun thing to do together.
I think that's what we need in the world, love one another and do life together.
And we're back. Hole number 7, Sarah Hokum going backhand into an incredibly picturesque green.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
she's
right under the
100% circle. Yep, it's right under the basket, and her 100% circle 1 putting will likely continue. Talk about that green on hole number 7. That's wild.
Well, first of
we'll
all,
talk about it in a bit.
2023 Disc Golf Pro Tour Innova Blue Ridge Championship. This is our feature card for day 1. Welcome to T-Pad 1, Henna Blumroos.
Stable disc there for Henna, and oh wow.
From here, it looks like she's safe. The line itself is out of bounds. Part of her disc must be touching safety for that disc to be called inbounds.
And the TDs were excited to see how a lefty attacks this course. And Emily appears to have leaked out of bounds from this angle, trying to lay up.
Completing our lead card, Owen Scoggins.
Owen throwing a lot of forehands out here on this course, but on one we will see the backhand.
I thought that this hole was going to play very tricky until we saw the last card, everybody making it look very easy to find safety. However, this particular card was not able to do the same.
Katie Tati on the 7th. Kind of a tough slope there. Just needs to throw placement. Heiser up to the green. That looks picture perfect. Let's actually throw it down to our third member of the crew, Nate Perkins. Nate, what are we feeling out here at North Cove? Likely soaking in the beauty at the North Cove property. Stunning views of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Emily from the drop zone. That had to have been a layup that she just leaked long.
Remember, Emily has immense power. So she may have been trying to take a little power off as not to throw long like both Henna and Evelina did, and just took off too much power. That looks strong too.
Oh no, that is the second out of bounds for Evelina. Not the start you want to have. Really doesn't seem like there's an easy way to give yourself an easy look on this hole. Let's actually jump here to Kristen. Her second on the third hole. Puts it in the bullseye, and we're going to jump here to 7, Hokum's birdie putt. I don't think we have seen a green like this all year, maybe ever on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. That is spectacular.
The rock on the back left side of that green is actually hanging over the edge of the basket.
Reminds me of the beautiful Diamond X disc golf course in Billings, Montana. Just incredibly unique. And Henna got the green flag from the spotter, but they're still having to decide whether or not she's safe.
Yeah, you have to be crossed over.
Yeah, it's in the front of it. It's a group decision, so if you want to get, who else is here? Emily? From this right here, to me it looks in, but closer it could be on it, very, very close. But it's...
For me,
It's hard for me to call, so I'm just gonna call her in because I cannot say it's like in or out. Let's say benefit, yeah, benefit. So we'll call you in. Okay? Yes, sir.
Okay. She got the call. Inbounds. And I think that's the right call, honestly. There's probably some green grass touching the disc, and in that case, you have to give it to the player.
I agree with you. If there's any wiggle room at all, really want to give it to the player. Especially when you have a OB line that looks like it's more than 2 inches wide.
Yes, exactly. It's not a rope. It's not completely defined. It's still spray paint at the end of the day. Evelina misses her putt for 5. It's going to be a tough start.
It's not something you see often. Own laying up the putt.
I mean, both of us have walked this green, and we know how treacherous it is. And where Kristen landed her drive and where Stacy landed her drive is not an easy place to stick your shot. So I think we're going to see a lot of that throughout the day. I think the player who goes out of bounds the least is going to be way up the leaderboard regardless of birdie percentage. Bogey for Emily Beach and a few tap-ins here. This is Evelina for her double bogey 6 after 2 out-of-bounds throws. Got it. Let's jump over to Sarah Hokum. On hole number 8. That's a tough forehand from where she's at. Downhill, hyzer flip sidearm, not easy to do. Here's Kristen tapping out on the 3rd. And we have Leah Sinigini on hole number 8 going lefty forehand.
With 2 manos on this hole, players are forced to go down the middle. Wow.
So much goodness. Wow, that was sick. Yeah.
That was sick.
And Kristen on the 4th. Solid shot. Let's take a look at our scores yet again. Players lighting up this course. Sarah Hokum continues 5 down through 7. Ella Hansen just on her heels with Jessica Weiss, 3 under par. A lot of 2 unders. This is refreshing scoring, Juliana. I love seeing players actually be able to score on this course. It's really shaping up to play well.
Especially after last week where we had so many, well, very few people under par.
And you are not wrong about that. That course at the Music City Open was just brutal. So I'm sure the players are very excited to be out at a course like this, a little bit shorter. Here's Hokum.
Very nicely done, getting it through that little gap there and keeping it next to the basket.
really tough opening hole for the rest of the card, except for Henna. Fantastic. Lefty, a little bit trickier line here. Has to put a little turn on it. Cannot get it to hyzer out right.
Plenty wide. Good shot.
Oh, yeah. Nice sidearm there for Own.
Beautiful power.
Right in the middle and in play with Evelina. Let's take another look at this drive. She is throwing the disc so well. Still the leader in the FPO division, Circle 1 and Circle 2 in regulation. Driving ability, fantastic. And you know what? We have Nate Perkins on the ground walking and talking with Evelina Salonen. We're going to throw it down to Nate. Nate, what do you hear?
Evelina, thanks for joining us here, and I want to ask you, like, how nice is this setting for a disc golf course?
It's so beautiful out here. Today we don't see those mountains, but I like it. Yeah. It's beautiful.
And we don't really see mountains like this back home in Finland, do we?
No.
And what's it like playing with your closest friend, Henna?
It's so fun. We are played together so many years, so yeah. It's like practice round, but it's also fun to speak sometimes Finnish.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned even without rain that sometimes the disc can feel sticky. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, it's so humid here and a little hot after rain, so like my hand and disc feel so sticky, so I have to use my whale sacks today.
Nice. Well, Evelina, thanks for joining us and good luck.
Thank you.
Must be nice to speak your home language with someone on the card. Probably feels fantastic, and just about as fantastic as that drive and upshot from Own. Here's Kristen for birdie. Got it. Not too shabby of a start. Wow. Would have been nice, Juliana, to get an ace from Leah's forehand there, but
A drop-in birdie's pretty good too.
I suppose so out here at this course. How is the ground out here around these greens? Does it skip? Is it sticky?
You would think with the rain that it could potentially be, you could potentially see a lot of skips, but I don't think that's the case. There's a lot of pretty lush grass, and it seems to be grabbing fairly nicely.
Jumping over to the ninth, Sarah Hokum. 5 down through 8 so far. It's a long par 3. Back to Emily Beach.
Just on the edge of circle 1.
And Hannah going standstill. It's a little moist out there.
fantastic.
Is that anchoring of the back foot, is that just her trying to take speed off of the disc?
I think that's just a comfort level for Hannah. That's just how she feels grounded and how she transfers her momentum without doing a run-up.
Tatar on 5. Wide hyzer. Wow. Already on fire. Let's take a look at that Zuka replay. Suppose we can look at it a little bit later, Juliana. Experiencing just a few technical difficulties right now. Just wanted to apologize for that. We are back for a brief moment on hole number 5. Looks like the technical difficulties are still with us, and we're still having to figure them out right now. Sorry about that. And we will be right back. We're just going to take a quick commercial break. Okay. Can you hear me, Juliana?
Yes.
Sorry about that form question. I was very intrigued. She like threw it really hard, but then her like back foot didn't leave the ground. It felt weird.
We don't wait to see what the future holds. We build it. The future is in your hands.
Yeah, if you want to keep it in the fairway on a wooded course, throw a Wombat 3.
The Educational Disc Golf Experience is the leading nonprofit organization bringing disc golf to schools nationwide since 2003. EDGE provides age-appropriate discs, targets, and a classroom-linked curriculum which empower educators to teach the fundamentals of the sport. In Edge's 20 years of existence, over 2 million youth have been introduced to this great lifetime activity. Be a part of the next chapter of disc golf. Support Edge today.
Unbelievable distance.
And this hole is not short, Juliana, and this gap is super narrow.
It's 379 feet, plus the basket is up on a ridge.
And for Emily Beach, this is not an easy par 3 to access.
Owen just concerned with getting out of the gap.
Do you think, after walking and studying this course, do you think that not having the distance out here is going to be a huge issue?
It's definitely going to make things harder. I did not guess that this would be reachable, so Henna throwing it past the basket is eye-opening to me. And now here, of course, Evelina puts it right by the circle as well. That's phenomenal. So yes, they will absolutely have opportunities on holes that others will not. But there are a lot of shorter holes that everybody's going to be able to reach, like this one on hole number 5.
Well, Kristen has the tools to access all of these, and she has her 4th birdie in 5 holes. And we're going to move on to hole number 6. Dangerous par 3.
That is the aggressive line. She has to make sure that that does not hyzer out into the water. Wonderfully played.
Look at that strip of land that you have to land on. If she was 3 feet to the right, that's skipping out of bounds. That is very aggressive.
I really think you need to go to the left side of that tree in order to get the birdie on that hole.
And Beach is just going to leak just outside of the bullseye. 20-footer uphill to save her par. Same with Own. Yeah, there's a few holes like this that are long par 3s where power players that have, if you look at the power precision index, there's a handful of players that are going to be able to access all of these greens, including a few on our 2 feature cards here.
Exactly, but you need to choose whether it's worth it or not because the OB is so close.
Exactly. We got to jump back to Sarah Hokum. She bogeyed the 9th. Here she is on 10. First blemish of the round after a stellar front 9. Burns that over just a bit. That's still some work to do. Look how far past the pin they are.
That's remarkable.
Par is going to be just fine. Kind of similar stories for Evelina and Henna. Just absolutely dominating the driving statistics, C1, C2 in regulation, fairway hits, scrambling, and both, while improving, still struggling from C1 and C2.
That's wonderful to see.
Drops it in weak side. Perfect speed. That's an awesome birdie. Throw it 410 feet. Grab yourself a birdie.
Just a little low for Emily.
And this has actually been her strength. The putting has actually been the one thing that's been saving her this season. And that's just a tough miss there. That's a really challenging lefty hole, especially with the slope down to the right side. We're going to jump back to Sarah Hokum on hole number 10 in the middle of the fairway.
This is a par 4, 606 feet. And of course, OB very close to the pin.
Okay. Conservative play. Let's jump back to hole number 4 and Juliana, walk us through this picturesque par 3.
Is this not just the most serene hole that you've seen? It's 276 feet. There's 20 feet of elevation loss. You are actually teeing from the out of bounds. You must cross into safety, which is on the ridge, not the water line, but up on the ridge. If you do not cross into safety from your tee shot, you re-tee. The basket is very close to the rocks, about 15 feet on the left, about 18 feet behind. And obviously you can see that there's a slope down to the water and to the OB line on the right-hand side.
Just a gorgeous place to play disc golf. And if you are spectating this event or viewing it on DGN, there are Airbnbs surrounding the property. Come take a disc golf vacation. Come play one of 3 courses, or all 3 if you choose. Let's jump to Kristen Tatar. Hole number 6, long putt along the water for birdie.
Right on line.
Off the... Yes. Oh, my goodness. Talk about the putting with rocks and playing off of rocks. What does that do for your disc? What do you have to do to strategize around that?
Well, I think that you need to not think about it while you're setting up your shot and you're releasing, but you do need to keep in mind that it is going to chew up your plastic when you land on and around the rocks. So potentially keep that in mind for the stability of some of your discs.
Stand still for Henna, just gets pulled a bit right. That's going to be out of bounds.
I mean, it doesn't matter for me. You can go right away, yeah. Right? Yeah, you can go. Okay, okay.
There's something about teeing off from the out of bounds area.
You not cross the land over there? Okay.
They're Nate, they're discussing some OB rules down there. Let's throw it down to you. What are they talking about with Henna's shot?
Yeah, I believe the rule states that she never crossed in bounds, so she's actually re-teeing, and she's forced to go before any of the others throw.
I need to sit down.
Oh my goodness. Nearly an awful reaction off that rock. Not bad. In play.
Aggressive line. I think that hit the basket.
Aggressive indeed. That would have been nice.
Oh, but that went out of bounds after hitting the basket. Very unfortunate.
Oh, wow. That's brutal.
You really hate to see that.
What does that look like, Juliana? Down there. I guess first we'll take a look at Evelina's shot. And the line looked so good. Took such a beautiful skip.
That was exactly what you want. That was inches from being an ace.
Oh, wow.
Inches from being parked.
Well, she has to make the adjustment. She has to make that par putt and move forward. We're going to jump to Kristen on the 7th. There you go. Not bad. That's
Very
right in
nice
play.
distance.
Yeah. Sarah Hokum.
Looked like Sarah's was a little short and left. There is a pretty big gully, only about 10 feet from the pin on the left-hand side there.
They have Sarah listed as sliding into circle 1, putting for par. We'll see if she can capitalize there. And there's always a lot to study on these greens. As we've been saying, baskets always seem to be close to water out here. And then there's also not always the most even level ground. I think the other thing playing with rocks is your disc can hit and bounce in some really weird directions off of them.
Exactly. And now here with Own Shot, you can see that she's partially obstructed by that rock wall in front of her. She can see the top of the basket, but she can't see the bottom. And sometimes that can make it a little bit harder to calibrate just how far away you are.
Not a bad play. Almost had enough to get it. That would have been a spectacular putt. Short for Henna. Emily Beach pitching up. And this is a crucial putt here for Evelina. This is such a deflating occurrence for her. I hope she can capitalize. You never want to see anybody have this happen and then not make it.
Well, she's been throwing well. Even on hole 1, her throws were right on line, just a tiny bit too strong. She's already gotten 3 OBs in just the 4 holes that she's played.
To safe par.
Missing everything on the left-hand side.
Yeah, just a bit tentative. The one thing I will say, the last 2 rounds of the Music City Open, 0 3-putts. Made all of her comebackers.
Her putting form really did look good at the Music City Open. Missing again left-hand side.
Another tester. That's just one she's going to have to shake off and move on. There's so much disc golf left to play. And like you said, she has been throwing well. That could have been easily an ace or a birdie.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She's not scored well, but she has been throwing very well off the tee.
Nate Perkins, what are they looking at down there in the creek?
I believe they were trying to retrieve a disc there. The North Fork of the Catawba River is just steadily rising here as there's some heavy rainfall upstream.
And luckily, the thunderstorms that were in the forecast are actually looking to push off what looked to be a really rough day. Is looking to be at least a little sunny right now, which is really pleasant after the conditions last week. Let's jump forward to 7. Stacy Ronsley. Decent way. Here's a par putt from Sarah Hokum. You were right, Juliana. She was short.
Beautiful putt, though. Saves her par on hole 10.
And now Kristen's second on the 7th. You have a backstop.
Yes, you can throw this upshot pretty much as hard as you want. If you end up, it's almost impossible to end up behind the basket, but if you do, there are special conditions. There's actually a drop zone right in front of the basket. For example, if you end up on top of the rock.
And with that, Kristen Tatar is going to tap in likely another birdie to bring her to 5 under through 7 holes, a pace that we've seen before. That's cooled off. And let's see what she has in store for us. Another birdie. It really looks like, Juliana, that you can run your upshot to throw it in.
Yeah, I think that you can, absolutely. However, if you throw very hard and you miss, you could ricochet significantly off the rocks. So that is perhaps one danger.
All right, we're going to jump to hole number 5. Owen going backhand.
Faster than that.
261 feet. And that's not too shabby.
There's a natural right to left gap on this hole. I think the lefty route is a little trickier.
Well, I think she likes it. Bullseye for Emily Beach. Fantastic lefty backhand there. And Henna's going to go wide route. Is there any other route as a righty besides the backhand hyzer?
Well, you could do the sidearm if you wanted to, but I just think the righty hyzer is a little larger. Filters it right down there nicely.
Oh, almost another ace. It's going to be 15 feet for birdie.
Oh, that took a strange bounce to the left.
Yeah, the ground play out here is really not consistent. And as I say that, let's fly hole number 5.
261 feet, par 3. It's a pretty straightforward hole. There is danger behind the basket with an OB line before the water, but there's more room here than in many of the other holes. You can see there's a ridge that partially obscures the basket from the tee, so you can just see the top of the basket. You can't see the entire basket. So the play is to just make sure that you get over this ridge, and you can see, we've seen that there's both the right and left approach kind of filters right towards the green.
Yeah, and I think that ridge serves a nice serves as a nice reference point as well, if you can just clear that and slide down, unless you get a skip like Evelina had off a rock or a root or whatever she touched. But like you said, a lot more space to play with on this one. Got it. It's going to bring her back to even par through 5 holes.
Wow, that was a fantastic birdie putt by Evelina.
Yeah, like you said, the stroke looks really solid right now. I'm not even sure if she changed anything or it's just the practice is starting to show itself, but that was very solid.
Well, I don't think her troubles are physical. I think she's always been a great putter. She just hasn't been able to perform in the spotlight.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And same with Henna. I know that both of them practice their putt so often, probably more than most of the FPO players, and they throw beautiful putts in practice. And sometimes weird things happen in competition when pressure arises, but great putts for both of them.
It can be infuriating if you have a problem that occurs during a tournament round, but in practice you can't replicate that trouble, so you can't fix it.
Exactly. Exactly. Tatar on 8. Downhill, tight gap. Makes the Mando.
Both of them.
And we have our feature card here on
hole number 6.
Hole number 6 here, and we have to talk a little bit more about the shot to get to the green. We saw Kristen throw a really sneaky line up here.
Yeah, there's 2 obvious ways to get to throw this shot, and that is to the right side of that tree or to the left side of that tree. I think it's not going to be reachable to the right side even, well, you know, Henna and Evelina surprised me on number 3, so perhaps they do have the power to get there on the hyzer line.
Yeah, it almost seems like you'd want to be Emily Beach in this situation and just throw straight. Okay, conservative play there. Let's see if they can surprise you, Juliana.
Okay, going right side.
It's a destroyer out of her hand, so she is running the green.
That's a little too low. Well, there's the circle. She's close. She's got a pretty scary putt, though, looking out over that water.
Yeah, you need to get a flare. I think the line is there if you can throw it low enough to flare it left.
Ooh, that looks even better.
Yes.
Don't hit that.
Oh my goodness.
The course is being so punishing to Evelina. If she had hit the grass either right or left of the path, I think she would have been fine. I think if she had hit the grass on the right of the path, she might have been very close to under the basket.
And both of us agreed. I mean, the line was there, and I think you said earlier the grass is stickier than normal, and just I think that's the brutal nature of the design of this hole. You want to give yourself a longer putt. That path is in the perfect spot.
Well, I do like how aggressive she threw that, and it was just such a good shot again. Unfortunately, ends up out of bounds.
And Tatar's second on 8 after hitting first available, yet making the Mando, and that's going to be just fine. decent ways to the basket for a par, but still within reach. Up to Hokum on 12. We are now at the top of the hill. Starting out of bounds.
She can't hit that left side. That was coming back nicely. I think that probably ended up OB.
Solid shot there for Own.
The OB for this hole in the middle of the fairway is on top of the ridge. But once you get close to circle 1, it turns to the left towards the water and runs straight to the water and then is the water's edge. So I believe Emily is just fine where she is.
Okay. Decision to be made here for Henna.
Henna lays up. I think that was the right decision. I don't think a miss from there has a chance of staying safe.
Got it. You can tell Own is just playing conservative disc golf right now, and she's playing within her limit. She knows what holes she has no business wanting to birdie.
Sorry.
And Nate, it sounds like Evelina's disc has just trickled out of bounds.
Yeah, Brian, 2 tragic occurrences in 2 holes, really. She just found that sidewalk and just got the worst case scenario rainbow skip, and it's just 6 inches into the river.
Taps in the par. No problem for Emily. And Henna is going to get a stress-free par. We are going to move on to the 7th. Let's jump to Kristen Tatar on the 8th, trying to save par.
Never a doubt for Kristen.
And now we're going to jump to Sarah Hokum. She did find out of bounds, and this is a long putt for par here. Tap in bogey. And as you see, Hannah Wynn creeping up there, 4 down through 16. Is it enough to catch Kristen Tatar 5 down through 8 holes? I heard throughout the week players were thinking double digits was possible.
I was thinking double digits as well. I think that even we'll even see better conditions Saturday and Sunday, and perhaps better scores as well.
Well, speaking of Kristen, we're going to jump to her on the 9th, see if she can cap the front 9 off with another bird. 378-foot par 3. This one looks tough.
It is hard to get in a good position to have a line at the basket.
On to 7. Much easier par 4. And apparently Owen trained her disc to roll forward and give her an extra 30 feet. Great drive there. And again, like we were talking, this is such a picturesque green, but also the second shot, you can run the eagle pretty safely, which is kind of a cool concept.
Yeah, you don't get that very often.
Emily throwing a beautiful drive fairway. Very forgiving fairway. You just have to clear the rocks short to get back in bounds, and then you're off and running.
Hannah giving it a full power.
Wow, okay.
Amazing.
That's huge. Beautiful shot from Hannah. And Evelina also going to put one down the fairway, but man, did Hannah Blomroos smash one down there. This is going to be our patent pending play of the day, brought to you by Sunstein. The timing was just immaculate. The shape was beautiful. Full flight with that destroyer cresting the hill. And man, she might have an easy look at a throw-in for eagle.
All I could do is laugh.
Must be nice. And give a huge shout out to Sunstein. For all of your intellectual property and patent needs, contact Sunstein. And the Finnish superstars walking down the fairway after a couple of great drives and likely talking in Finnish, which I'm sure feels great. Having to be in front of the spotlight every single week in a foreign country. Over to Hokum on the 13th. Going backhand.
It's only a 220-foot shot. It plays much farther because of the uphill component off the tee.
And she's going to be putting for birdie inside circle 1, and that is a great approach. Jumping back to 7. That's a tap-in birdie for Owen. I'm looking for someone, Juliana, to grab a driver and just chuck a forehand at the basket. I just want to see. I just want to see what happens here.
Beautiful approach.
I suppose a birdie is just fine. And just about 100 feet to go, maybe even less.
Well, that was a decent approach.
There's the effort.
A little bit higher, it was right on line. Keep in mind, this hole is 506 feet and it is uphill. So she threw well over 400 feet there.
Kristen jumping forward, just throwing a simple touch forehand. That's going to be a tap-in par on the tough 9th hole. And Evelina to continue on the putting green. She's made 2 solid putts in a row. And not to be on this one. Hannah for birdie.
Just sliding off the chains on the left-hand side.
And hole 7 is playing. It's the 3rd easiest hole in the course, a 3.72 average. It's going to sting to not take the birdie on that one after a drive like that.
You can just step on there, right? It's your shot, right? Yeah, right? I think she can step on there and putt, right? Yeah, you can just step on there and putt. Yeah. Except you call it up there. You know? Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Better like that. Be careful.
One of the more uncomfortable putts you'll face all year. But she's out and moving on to the 8th. Let's jump forward to Sarah Hokum putting for birdie. Got it. 4 under par through 13 holes, not too shabby. Tatar saving her par on the 9th. Still 5 under on the round. That is the mark to hit right now. A lot of players shooting it up, but it looks like there's some separation happening. Sarah Hokum, Hannah Wynn, and Kristen Tatar breaking away from the pack. A lot of 2 under pars. When you were walking this property for the first time, Juliana, what were you thinking the players were going to shoot on average here?
Oh, I definitely thought we were going to see quite a few under par. I would say 8 would be a good score. That's what I was thinking when I was out there. It was kind of windy when I was playing, and right now we don't have to worry about the wind at all.
And here's Kristen Tatar on hole number 10. This is playing the hardest on the course, 4.8 average so far. Just have to put this one in play. Owen on 8. Plays it a little bit short. It's going to be a risky putt. Let's throw it down to Nate Perkins. Nate, wind sounds like it might be picking up a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, we took a short hike up this hill to the tee pad of hole 8, and the wind is coming directly out of the south, and it's showing as a right to left here on this downhill tee shot.
Locals out here saying that the wind can get brutal and swirly. So scoring in the morning, crucial.
Hannah ricocheting off one of those trees, but still making the Mando.
How tight are these gaps that the players have to hit?
It's not that. Well, I mean, it's tight, but it's a reasonable ask.
And Hannah Wynn moves to 5 under par through 17. She's playing some fantastic golf recently and has just consistently leveled up her game. She's been on the road full-time for at least a couple years now. And solid round to start. Definitely a good number to put up out here. One more hole to go. Basket is perched downhill, elevated pin. If you land up top, it's a tricky putt.
She's in the circle, but that's a dangerous putt.
It's also a very unique putt to putt downhill at an elevated pin like that. Definitely tricky. Speaking of which, what does Emily Beach have here? It's always scary to be setting up your lie so close to a tree and lining up a backhand.
She gave herself a look.
Definitely a tough look, but a look nonetheless. And now Henna from uncomfortable footing. Okay. Not too shabby. That's still going to be a tough putt. The wind blowing in her face on the elevated pin. Let's jump forward to Katie Tati on hole number 14. Wow.
This is perhaps the most fun hole to throw on the course.
Just a huge open downhill bomb, and the OB is pretty generous on this one.
Yeah, it's really nothing to think about while you're on the tee.
And Sarah's just thinking birdie here. She's not here trying to stretch out too far, but we'll see a long forehand turnover from her.
Turn that over a little too much.
And that should be in play.
Great
that's
approach.
A tough. Yeah, I was going to say it's a great approach. It's tough to be up there and not see where the base of the pin is.
I think she was just trying to get right to the edge and have it trickle over, which she did.
Okay. Evelina to save par.
Impressive shot, very impressive shot. Nicely done. It would be reasonable to think that she would be scared of this putt after the troubles that she's had already today on the green, and she was able to put enough power on that. Nice pace.
And the stroke looks like the disc is being popped out of her hand. It looks like it's coming out with intention. Unfortunately, Henna not the same. Another left side miss. Tap in there for Owen. That's going to be easy par. Very masterful approach into the bullseye. Let's jump forward to Kristen Tatar. Second shot on hole number 10. Like I said, hardest hole in the course currently, playing .8 over par.
She should have an easy up and down from there. This basket is remarkably close to out of bounds.
And Hannah Wynn catching up on the 17th to tie Kristen Tatar. A lot of players in the hunt right now. This is starting to be a common theme on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Going back to the tee here. Feature card, hole number 9, long flexing par 3.
A little bit harder to approach from the side hill, but she should be fine.
Okay. Still needs to turn a lot more right, and you have to get it moving pretty soon if you want it to get that flat and push up to the green. This is a tough pin position.
That's a nice line. Finally, a hole that might reward the lefty shot.
Oh,
That
look
is
at this.
gorgeous. Wow. Hannah,
I mean,
putting it inside of circle 1, having it rolling down outside, but still, just remarkable how much power she has.
That's crazy.
It's a huge hole right here.
Yeah, that's definitely a hole.
Covered by a grate, though.
I mean, that's safer.
Yeah, that is covered.
all right, Sarah Hokum second on the 14th.
Basket is up on a mound. It's a nice looking line.
You have got to be kidding me.
Sarah throws it in from the fairway.
That's one
shot.
way to do it. Wow.
That's an eagle, baby girl.
Nice.
I hope that cameraman brought his running shoes because we are chasing this baby down. What a shot from Sarah. That eagle is going to bring her to 6 under par. Come on. She has no words.
Okay.
That's a 2.
Wow. Own, simple little forehand approach there, and Tatar, downhill putt. The 4 on 10 will take almost a full stroke on the field, so I'm sure she is totally fine with that. And here is Evelina from a real tricky spot.
Good effort getting out of that spot there. She had a lot of small limbs in front of her, and you never know what's going to happen when you hit the rocks by the green, so that was well done.
Well, yeah, look at the rock slab just waiting to ramp your disc off and send it away. Nearly a rollaway back out to where she was, but she sticks up there, and she's going to have a tap in to save the par. Hole 9, yet another hole playing almost a half stroke over par, rightfully so. Oh boy.
Just a little low, and she gets the roll on the very steep green. Just outside of circle 2 now, or I'm sorry, circle 1.
She is outside the circle. It does sit. Sitting on the backside of the green. That's an unfortunate series of events for Owen Scoggins, but again, that's what happens when you're putting on a green this steep and this dangerous. And after a smash of a drive, Katie Tati's second. Well, it's not in the basket like Sarah's, but I suppose a tap-in birdie is not too shabby.
Oh no, Evelina does get the roll away on her missed putt.
Just an exceptionally treacherous green, no matter how you cut it. And with the amount of hyzer Evelina likes to put on her putts, it's scary putting on hills like this. Just a day of unfortunate happenings for Evelina Salonen. Just so close on so many shots.
Does feel like she's gotten more than her fair share today.
And that's going to be a putt for a double bogey for Evelina. And just inside the bullseye.
Center chains in the basket.
With how uphill this basket is and how sloped it is there a way to even get inside circle 1, or are you always going to find yourself at the base of the hill?
Off the tee, are you referring to?
Yes.
Well, again, I wasn't thinking really of even having the power to get that far, but yeah, I suppose you can kick off one of the rocks and stay there, but I wouldn't expect to be inside of circle 1, even if I did have the power to get there with this particular green.
Tatar on the 11th. Just a bit too much turn out of the hand. And that's going to be short. Hokum on the 15th. Uphill par 3, 294. And after the eagle, solo leader, 6 under par.
Fading a little left, she'll have an open look for an up and down for her par.
Tap in par there for Kristen. And Hannah Wynn, 5 down, still staying strong on the leaderboard. Jessica Weiss creeping up, 3 down through 17. Jordan Linz, Hide Lane, 2 under par, and a lot of players sitting at that mark 2, 1 under. Even right now, sitting at 12th place as well. There's 5 players tied for 12th, including Henna Blomroos and Emily Beach on our feature card. Even is not too shabby out here, it seems like. Emily Beach on 10.
This is a 606-foot par 4. The danger off the tee is those 2 sand traps that we saw Emily come awfully close to. They do play as hazards if you land inside of them.
Huge drive from Henna. That's way up the fairway. Where Owen just landed, really not in contention for the birdie, but still very easy positioning for the par 4, which is very solid on this hole. Evelina, on the other hand, fantastic drive up the fairway. Can you get to the pin with a backhand on hole number 10 on that second shot?
You can, but boy, do you have to have good control over it, because the OB line is 15 feet to the right of the basket. It is very, very close, and it slopes down to the water's edge as well.
And after Kristen tapped in her par there, Sarah Hokum is about to do the same with a nice backhand up shot. And let's fly this hole number 10. As we were talking about, Juliana, this one is playing so challenging.
Now look on the ground. You can see the white line. That's the out of bounds line. It is well inside of the tree line. So this is one of those places where it's maybe unintuitive. You think if you're on the short grass, you're safe. That's not necessarily the case. The danger off of the tee is to land inside of one of these sand traps. These are playing as hazards. If you can stay free of those, then you have to worry about how aggressive you want to be on your upshot, because the basket is treacherously close to the out of bounds. The out of bounds is 15 feet from the basket on the right side, 18 feet from the basket on the front side, and it is sloping down to the water as well.
Well, we'll see how Owen Scoggins decides to attack this second. Overstable forehand. And she's going to have a long look at the basket, but nothing that she's going to want to run with reckless abandon, I suppose. I think this is also going to be a hole that the players are going to look at UDisc after round 1, see how hard it was playing, and potentially change their game plan to get themselves a 4 and move forward. Emily looks like she's putting for birdie from circle 2 after that standstill drive. Still cut off quite a bit of distance.
Brian, you asked if you can get there with a backhand. So as we're looking at the basket now, those trees that you can see on the right-hand side, those are all out of bounds. So it looks like you could just hyzer it in from the fairway, but that is definitely not the route you want to take. If you're going to go with a backhand, you need to be controlled and have a little slight turn on it to try to get to the basket without bringing that OB into play more than necessary.
Well, we're going to see it right here from Henna. Slow turning backhand. That is just fine. Give yourself a look. If you don't want it, you lay up and you're still taking strokes in the field. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to give a shout out to Disc Golf United for providing free coverage on YouTube. Use the code DGPT at Disc Golf United to save 15% and get free shipping on all of your orders. Again, fantastic having first round coverage free on YouTube for the world to see. Thank you, DGU. We're going to jump towards your tournament leader, Sarah Hokum. After a phenomenal eagle on hole number 14, she moves to 16th. Wow.
She did land in the hazard. She is probably less than 20 feet from the pin.
The line looked so good, but just got caught up in that wind and just brought short. Here's Kristen Tatar on hole number 12. Great shot. Owens birdie look. Does not fall, but again, from about 60, 70 feet, I think she's okay with tapping in a par here. It is interesting having some trees out of bounds and some trees inbounds. It kind of messes with your mind a bit. You really have to know the course and take good notes.
Absolutely. When I was playing a practice round, I made that mistake a few times, just assumed that the trees around the basket would be safe, and a couple times it came back to bite me.
Owen went a little bit long on her third shot, and she capitalizes, grabs the par, moves forward, taking quite a few strokes in the field there. Got it. Henna's going to tap in her par as well. As will Emily Beach. Let's jump forward to Erica Stinchcomb on number 12. 297-foot par 3. And that's pretty good. I think that's
gorgeous.
That's what the doctor ordered. Whitney Graham from North Carolina on hole number 16. Fantastic drive.
Thank you.
Tatar Drops in another birdie. She moves to 6 under par, tying the lead. She's on a good pace. And we are going to take a look at the scores. We are about to be in a slightly bad area for cell signal for the broadcast. Just wanted to give a heads up there. And with that, we still obviously do have the coverage, but we are going to have limited cameras because of the cell signal issues on this part of the course. But we will definitely get back to the action. Here's Evelina. Hole number 11, shorter hole. Blows that long. Juliana, what is it about this tee shot that's challenging?
It's blind. You can't see the pin. It looks like you would be able to see it because we're looking right at the basket right here as we're going back towards the tee. But from the tee, that mound of dirt obstructs the view. So you need to know where this is located. There are a few trees that you need to get past as you go through the opening off the tee, but they shouldn't be a problem. You can go either right side or left side.
A couple of drives going long. Here's Henna. Oh boy. Luckily spits out to the middle. Ariel Walker.
Get it.
From the drop zone. Got it. Making a splash in her Disc Golf Pro Tour debut. Upshot's going to land close there for Henna. And we are going to jump to Kristen Tatar.
This is hole number 13. 220-foot hyzer.
Another blind shot. Oh, look at this.
That disc knew exactly what to do.
And here's Hokum from the hazard, almost throwing a perfect shot, just landing a few feet short in the out of bounds hazard. Got it, that's the par. And because we are in a slightly bad signal area, we are going to throw it to a quick commercial break, and we will be right back in just a few here on the Disc Golf Network.
Great Lakes Disc, located in Grand Rapids, Michigan, is a fully stocked retail disc golf store that fulfills all of your disc golf needs. We carry all of the major manufacturers, accessories, and offer player and event sponsorship, along with tournament payout assistance. To learn more about Great Lakes Disc, visit greatlakesdisc.com.
Hi, I'm Innova Team Captain Nate Sexton. Welcome to our instructional disc golf series. Maybe even bank over to the right, and that's going to give the putt loft. Slight flex line, so you'll see this come out a little bit higher to give you a variety of different shot shapes. The farthest away player should go first towards the basket.
My name is Ricky Wysocki. I founded the Saki Bomb Foundation as a nonprofit organization committed to growing the sport of disc golf with America's youth. The foundation's First Putt initiative puts 50 discs and 1 portable basket in the hands of PE teachers across the United States at no cost to the school. We've already sent First Putt packages to schools in all 50 states with the generous support from our sponsors. If you want to be a part of this movement, visit sakibombfoundation.org. Thank you for growing the sport of disc golf with us.
And welcome back, Kristen. Yet another birdie. She moves to 7 under par. 2 birdies in a row. Whitney Graham. And that's going to be a tap in there for Whitney. Back to the green of 11. Here's Henna. Oh. Airball right.
Left herself with a longer putt than she had to begin with, looking up the basket now.
That's an unfortunate score there. Definitely not a bright moment in this round for Henna. And that double bogey is going to bring her to 2 over par. Here's Emily Beach, no problem. Nice work. Tough double bogey there for Henna. We're going to move into the to the 12th hole. Home tapping out as well. Let's jump to the 17th. Sarah Hokum, beautiful downhill par 4.
There is OB on the right-hand side.
Back to the feature card, Evelina, hole number 12. And that looks like it's crept out of bounds.
She landed just left of the pin, and there is a slope down to the OB right at that point. This is 297 feet.
Emily going pure hyzer, and that is going to stick her right inside circle 1. Great shot there for Emily. Owen has options, but she doesn't have a ton of room to throw that full flex. She's going for it.
Beautiful shot. She kept it nice and low. There was no way that was going to hit on either right or left side, right down the middle. It's fading out left. That does find the OB.
Kristen on the 14th. Wide open space. Perfect. And that was her par putt from the drop zone. And this is not an easy drop zone. This is nearly edge of circle 2.
With danger behind and left of the basket.
Man, missing the green on this one is pretty much an automatic bogey. It's a tough putt to run uphill with the slope right behind the basket.
You can also hear the wind on this hole. This hole is on a ridge, and when it is windy, this is one of the holes that you can feel it on the most because of its placement.
Yeah, I want to throw it down to Nate Perkins. Nate, I know the wind is picking up, but is it swirling? Is it consistent? What are we feeling right now?
Yeah, it's a pretty steady wind out of the south, and these next few holes, it's definitely going to come into play as it's kind of a little bit more exposed. But as we get into this back nine, it's a little bit more protected, and I don't see wind coming into play on a lot of these tee shots. It's quite pleasant out here, guys.
And Emily Beach and Owen both jamming some really nice birdie putts. And Owen gets back to even par. As Evelina and Henna both grab 2 more bogey strokes. It's been a tough round so far for the 2 of them. A few more holes to go. Here's Sarah Hokum. What is she looking at here, JK?
It's reachable. She can definitely get to the pin, but the pin is very close to that hazard sand trap. So she needs to decide how aggressive she wants to be, either short or long, and obviously left brings that sand trap into play.
I believe Sarah is safe. This is her second.
Yep, you're good.
That sucks.
Stinchcombe on the 14th. And that's going to be a little bit of work left for Erica. And we move over to another blind shot. Emily Beach on 13.
Another very hard shot for a lefty. She's just playing it out so that she can lay up for her par.
On a hole so short, is that overly conservative, or is the shot that much more technical?
Well, if she were to try to turn that over, there is out of bounds pretty close to the basket, so I don't think it's a bad play.
Oh, sticking her hyzer close. Evelina almost trickling out of bounds again. You are not kidding about this green. Tatar on 14. Second shot. There it is. That's what she's been doing so well just for the past couple of years. On to another Estonian. Here's
right under the pin.
Amazing. Just to show you the drop getting down that far.
We just saw her make a big putt earlier.
Almost drops another. I have to say, what we've seen of her so far. Inchcombe for birdie. Got it. 0 for Erica. She's even par in the round. Rough start, but she is continuing. And that was actually her 3rd birdie in a row. Nearly trickling out of bounds again.
It's been one of those days for Evelina. Glad that this one didn't penalize her.
Just off the tray. Little bit more high. Would have gotten there. Beach for par. No problem. Creeps to 1 under, finally for the round. Evelina had to tap out their pars, and we're going to see them on hole number 14. Hokum for par on number 17. OB has her directly behind the basket. She's right outside C1.
She has a putt that allows her to be aggressive on this particular shot without really worrying about the OB behind it.
Not bad. Tap in par. Stacy Ronsley. Hole number 14 for birdie. Got it.
Great shot.
Stacy is hanging in there. 1 over for the round. Close to getting back to even. And Katie, after a huge drive, goes kind of a fun putt there for the tap in. She goes to 1 under par. And that actually is a bogey for Sarah Hokum. I believe she ended up actually going out of bounds on the drive, contrary to what I thought. Here's Own on 14. Wow, that was smashed. Little bit too much hyzer there for Evelina. I'm not sure where she's going to be in regards to that tree line on the left side.
There is a lot of room on this hole. I think she'll be able to find a route to the basket. Sarah was also pinched off on the left-hand side and put it in for eagle.
Maybe she heard about it and decided to go there as well. Here's Henna.
Asking it to come back to the left. Massive distance.
And we're going to jump forward to Kristen Tatar on 15, uphill par 3. How far does this hole actually feel like it's playing, Juliana?
It's reachable by the biggest arms, but not by everybody in the field. And I'm actually surprised that Kristen went backhand there. I thought there was potentially a better window coming in at that basket with a sidearm approach.
And on to number 18 here is Sarah Hokum going forehand. Sticks it in the fairway. Back to the 14th. Juliana, this looks like probably the most enjoyable hole in the course after all the OB the players have to maneuver.
Absolutely. You can't even tell how much elevation loss there is. It's just a gradual, consistent downward grade that is significant enough that I think Henna's close to pin high, and it's 612 feet. I mean, it really makes you feel like you've got a lot of power when you throw this hole. It's one of those holes where you just want to throw your entire bag. And then the basket, as we've seen, is placed on top of one of these mounds. And you can kind of use the mounds as a backstop when you throw your approach shots. I did expect to see a fair number of birdies, and very happy to see that we've already gotten an eagle on this hole as well.
Owen has the putters out. And it looks like Evelina is at least close to where the eagle was thrown in from. She is going to go backhand. Okay, not bad. Plenty wide, slides one up there. Birdie putt for Owen Scoggins as well. And Hokum's second shot on the 18th. This is a tricky green and a tricky elevated pin to access.
Not enough on that. She'll be left with an uphill, long uphill putt at the basket.
Okay, Kristen Tatar putting for birdie. Tricky footing. Yeah, that just looked uncomfortable. Okay, Emily's going to be on the putting green, and Henna is way up the fairway after that huge drive.
Able to get it fairly close to the basket.
And that was a few moments ago. Now we're live on the green with Evelina putting for birdie.
Just a little left side.
Emily from 20, 25 feet. Yes. Brings her down to 2 under par. Kind of a roller coaster of a front nine. It's steadied a little bit. She actually had a pretty rocky start to the season in general, missing cash in Vegas and Waco, but then getting top 10 at the Texas State Championships, winning an A tier in between, 11th place after that at the Music City Open.
Evelina finds the basket from possibly farther away than their previous putt.
She's hit some great putts this round. I have to give that to her. Obviously, there's been a couple short ones that she's missed, but the stroke doesn't look bad. It looks like it has some confidence behind it in certain parts of this round.
The rhythm feels nice.
I agree with you there. I definitely do. Sometimes it feels like the disc just kind of falls out of her hand and she forgets to let go, but a lot of these putts, especially the comebackers, some of her comebackers have looked great. Three birdies in a row for Own. It's going to bring her to 2 under par. Feature card is heating up on this back stretch. Here's Hokum's third on the 18th. Downhill sloping green with the elevated pin. And that's going to be a par to finish out the round at 5 under. But Kristen is still going. Hits the putt for par on 15. 3 holes to go for her. And there it is for Sarah Hokum. 5 under par. Effort in the first round. That's going to be pretty solid compared to the rest of the field. She finds herself in a tie for second. Kristen wide on 16.
There is danger left of the basket, so it is understandable to play the right side.
And as we look at the full scores here, it appears that 2-3 under is still not that bad. 2 under has remained in that top 10 spot throughout the entire round. But we do have players up towards the top. Hannah Wynn, Sarah Hokum 5 under par. Kristen Tatar 3 holes remaining at 8 under par, potentially giving us our only double-digit round of the day. Here's Owen Scoggins on the tricky uphill 15.
There is a nice opening on the left-hand side. Far fewer trees between the basket and that left opening than going straight at it.
Claps from the crowd. Tough backhand. Ooh, she did not like that one.
Turn that too much.
Actually got a decent roll back to the left. We'll see what she has. And back to Ariel Walker. on 16.
Beautiful control on that shot.
Playing it to the wide side of the green. Another great shot. Rawnsley on the 16th. Much more generous on that right side. Stacy has incredible power.
She gets it to stick. Beautiful shot.
This is where her accidental roller ended up getting to. Not too bad. Gave it a run. Over to Kristen. Long putt for birdie. She is not going to take that chance. She's going to tap in the par. Just getting a little garbage from the card. You're already playing well. Why aren't you going for it? Emily Beach for birdie. Got it. Such a nice
Tricky.
putt. She is putting very solid this season. She is 9th on tour Circle 1X putting. It's kind of been her saving grace this year. Let's take another look.
That was a tricky putt. She had to curve it just slightly around that tree.
Henna got it. Fantastic putt, dropping in on that weak side. Let's see it again. That's what you get when you have good speed on that putt. That other side of the basket opens up for you. As Own splashes out on that left side. Does not get the birdie. For par.
That did not have quite enough speed on that one. Splashes out on the left side.
She will tap in a bogey. It's been a tough round for Evelina so far. Still a lot of disc golf left. Back to Ariel Walker for birdie. Drains it. Not a bad debut on the Disc Golf Network for the Charlotte player. Joined the PDGA in 2021 and hit the ground running. Rawnsley for birdie. Nothing there, but still up on the playing surface. Couple of par tap-ins, and we are back with our feature card. Hole number 16. It plays longer than it looks. It's a little bit downhill, but there is that hazard OB right in front of the basket. You don't get to slide up to the pin. Emily wide side. Gives herself a long look at birdie, just outside C1. If you're throwing a hyzer here, where do you want this to land?
I'm trying to land about on pin high, circles 1, and hoping that it skips a little bit towards the basket.
And Henna looking to do exactly that. And similar positioning to Stacy drive. That's a scary putt.
And then I splashed him, splattered him.
A little bit of a backup on hole number 17. Long downhill par 4. Here's Owen on 16. Playing forehand. In decent positioning. Still a long birdie look.
Very nicely played, pulled it very wide, high enough to control the distance, swinging it into the basket.
That's going to be a nice 20-footer for birdie for Evelina. And we have to thank Disc Golf United one more time. Shout outs to DGU for providing free coverage on YouTube for round 1 of the Blue Ridge Championships. Huge shout out to DGU. Use the code DGPT to save 15% and get free shipping on every order. Again, thank you so much for providing us with this free YouTube coverage here on the Disc Golf Network. Let's take a look at the keys for closing on this Boulders course, Juliana.
Well, for one, keep it in the fairway. We've got hazard on 16, OB on 17 and 18, so try to stay safe. Control for elevation, especially on hole 17. There's significant elevation change, so make sure you match the flight with the slope of the hole. And know when to be aggressive. Know when it's going to count, when it might cause more pain than good.
Korver's keys for closing brought to you by blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store. Owens birdie putt off the tray. Tap in par. And the layup, not too bad of a decision there with the wind blowing and the OB hazard behind. Keeping stress low is definitely key out here. With that said, with a couple more birdies, Emily Beach could potentially make the lead card. She has had a sneaky good round. Henna for birdie.
Looked tentative, not quite enough forward momentum on that putt. Lost its line.
Got it, weak side birdie. Evelina Salonen. That's got to feel good. Got a few tap-ins for par coming up. Moving on to hole number 17, 2 holes left. Got a little bit of a backup here on number 17. So with that said, we're going to take a quick commercial break here on the Disc Golf Network. We'll be back in just a few.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
It's always so exciting when we get new plastics of the Passion, but I always end up falling back on the stock ones. And I like to say its closest counterpart is the Buzz. I think my absolute favorite way to throw it is dead straight and just watch the beauty of a straight flight. They've become a staple in the Discraft lineup and also in people's bags, and to know that people everywhere are enjoying the Passion as much as I am. That's just really exciting for me.
Here we are at the International Disc Golf Center. The course is just shining for the competitors.
This place means a lot. It's the type of course that where as soon as you think you have it figured out, it shows its teeth.
At a major tournament, there's a different kind of feeling.
Make your career go to the next step. You need to win a major.
We show where we came from and hopefully show where we're going with events like this weekend.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Ariel Walker on the tee of 17. Long downhill par 4. Look at this line. Yes, ma'am. The fullest of flights. Great shot. And we see Kristen Tatar lining up her drive on 17. This is 569 feet reachable. She's going forehand. We have Nate Perkins on the ground. Nate, it sounds like Holland Hanley reached the green on this one?
Brian, I had the pleasure of watching Holland put it in the bullseye. Amazing shot into a gentle headwind. I was ready for Kristen to kind of attack this one, but she plays the conservative forehand. This being 40 feet of downhill from tee to green, there is OB looming on that left side if you get that nose angle wrong.
What a shot. Bullseye eagle from Holland Hanley. Stacy Ronsley bleeds hers over just a bit to the left side. Stinchcomb. That does need to get down. Red flag from the spotter. Let's take a look at this scorecard for Holland Hanley. Haven't talked about her. Just a little bit of struggles on the middle stretch, but look at the bullseye eagle on 17, 569 feet away. Not too bad.
Just phenomenal. Hole 17 feels pretty intimidating when you're standing on the tee, but if you can match the slope with the flight of your disc with the slope, you can really sail for a long way.
I stood atop that tee pad last night in the evening time, and I knew it was possible. but with the conditions and the pressure, you just never expect that to actually happen. What a shot. Kristen's second, much more conservative play than what Holland did. And this is exactly why leader in OB percentage, leader in fairways hit. She is straight up golfing out here. That's a tap-in birdie.
Yeah, when the conservative play can give you a very easy birdie, it's hard to argue with that.
It's point A to point B at the end of the day. And just a short backup with just a couple holes left. The course seemed to flow fairly nicely otherwise. Here's Walker. It might not be a bullseye off the tee, but man, that's a huge drive for Ariel and that perfect forehand approach. It's got to be a zone up to the basket for the Discraft Underground team member.
She may not be underground very long with shots like that.
Man, I'm you don't have to tell me, Juliana. That's some impressive play so far, and clearly likes playing on the cameras.
I think so.
Ronsley for par. Very nice putt. Just calmly collects herself, asks the crowd to quiet down, refocuses, jams the death putt. That's a professional move right there.
Exactly. I'm impressed by the fact that she asked for what she wants instead of putting through the distraction and then getting upset by it after the fact.
Stinchcombe makes good from about 25. Erica's come along as a solid commentator in the disc golf world as well. Now this year, commentating with Madison Walker on Jomez Pro for the inaugural year of FPO coverage on the channel. And it's been quite the treat so far. Tap in bullseye birdie for Ariel Walker. And they move to the final hole here. Here's a quick bio blast. Started playing during the COVID years, joined the PDGA in 2021 and played 19 tournaments. Again, like we've said, this is her first Disc Golf Pro Tour event. Works for an engineering firm in the Charlotte area. Welcome to the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We certainly have some players on this feature card that can get to the green. Here's Evelina. Got the full flight, but no forward push on the skip, but still way down there. Decent headwind here on 17.
Turn that over a little bit, but it's coming back nicely. That's getting close to the circle.
Yeah, I was going to say just on the edge of C2. Great drive from the lefty. Okay. Okay.
Massive power.
Now, I don't even think that got the full turn that she wanted. That was enormous from Henna. red flag OB there for Own. Let's jump back and take another look at this mash from Henna Blomroos. Uses all of her coils so well. Her timing is so solid. You see how her weight does not fly forward after she finishes. She puts all of her energy into her brace foot. Look at this line. Wow. Back to Walker on 18, going forehand. Wow. Forehand and backhand, right in the middle. Kristen trying to match.
Yes.
Okay. Owns third after going out of bounds. Drops it to 25 feet.
Well done. Thank you.
And Evelina getting close to Henna, but still not nearly as far. Here's Walker on 18, second shot.
You have a backstop on this shot, so you can really throw it as hard as you want.
And we have another look for birdie from Ariel Walker. We are likely to see her name again. It's great to have it on the silver event circuit on the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Right under the pin.
And Henna for eagle, just outside C1.
A gentle go for it. She lands right under the basket. She'll have a drop-in birdie.
I got a feeling we'll see another highlight from her soon. I like the run. Good speed, just a bit short. Gonna tap in that par. Beach. Birdie for Henna.
Inside the circle, she'll have an uphill putt.
And with that uphill putt, the chance for the only double-digit score of the round and to dominate the rest of the field here in round one. That is foot on the gas right there. Let's take a look at some highlights from Kristen Tatar's round. So far, a clean 9 under par through 17. She started it off with just a picture-perfect backhand. What are you seeing from Kristen's play today?
Just so steady, and she looks so relaxed out there. You know, she's just looks like a walk in the park for her, and she just continues to do the right things. Very little trouble. No stress. It's beautiful to watch.
And that's the
and
big
with
thing.
The occasional help from the ground play here.
Well, I think she must have trained the disc to do this. I'm going to need you to roll 35 feet, hit the rock. Perfect birdie. But, man, the thing that I'm noticing about Kristen is the backhand is finally snapping out of her hand. I felt like earlier in the year when she said there was some numbness in her arm, I was seeing quite a few early releases. Now these backhands are coming out with power. They're coming out with direction, spin. And the putt is the same as well. It's just, it's really captivating to watch for birdie. She will settle for a 9 under par, leading the field by 4. Here's Emily Beach on 18.
There is OB on the right side of that path.
And Emily was tied for 4th. That OB is going to have to drop her unless she can get up and down for par from there. Hannah going backhand. What a shot. Let's jump to Walker on 18. For birdie. Good run, but a very impressive debut on the Disc Golf Network.
Owen with the more aggressive line straight towards the basket.
I mean, you look at the way she likes to throw forehands. The left gap is not an option. She's just not compromising. I love that. Let's fly the 18th.
This is a 609-foot par 4. Initially, you throw out of the gap and you are throwing downhill, but once you get to the middle of the fairway then turns slightly to the right and goes significantly uphill. Players with enough distance have to worry about the sand trap here on the left-hand side, which does play as a hand hazard. I think the approach shot is kind of fun because of the backstop that you have with the topography, so players can really throw it hard and not have to worry about going too far past the basket.
Not a bad start. Bogey-free 9 under par on the OB-laden Boulders course to kick off the tournament. Not a bad start indeed. And here's Emily. It's a safe par. She has a little bit of length left.
Very good approach.
That will certainly work, but an uphill putt to an elevated basket. Never easy, especially with a slight headwind. how much room do the players have on the high side of the basket before they go out of bounds long?
Well, because the hole is so long, most of the players are going to be throwing pretty hard into the basket and really probably can't even reach the out of bounds. But now with, for example, Henna's shot, she's got so much power that she does need to keep that in mind, but it's significant.
And a significant shot there for Owen, getting to the high side we were just talking about, and she's on the bullseye whisker. Very nice shot, and love the aggressive play. Trusting her bread and butter shot. That's going to give her a solid opportunity for a birdie putt to finish out the round. And yeah, we're in the beautiful mountains of North Carolina, but we head down next week to the incredible wooded property at Wildwood State Park at the IDGC for the first major of the year, the PDGA Champions Cup. You will not want to miss this one at the W.R. Jackson course here on the Disc Golf Network. It is going to be an incredible watch. If you have not seen this course on camera, you need to see it. Such a historic place to watch the best players in the world compete. The green of 18, Emily Beach to save par.
Wow.
Got it! Kind of a roller coaster start for Emily Beach, but she really cleaned it up and knocked down putts just like this. Such a solid finish for Emily Beach. What a save. Wow.
Scary putt looking at that steep incline. She's now left with a very long comebacker.
And Henna is going to tap out yet again. Longest drive in the card and just can't capitalize. She can just clean up some of those up and downs, just like Evelina. Right up towards the top. Owen's going to tap in after a beautiful second shot. And some moments of brilliance for both Henna and Evelina, but kind of a tough start to the tournament. 2 rounds to go. All smiles still from Evelina. Taking a look at the scores one last time. Kristen Tatar 4-stroke lead over Hannah and Sarah. Jessica Weiss will join them on the lead card tomorrow. What a day of disc golf here at North Cove. We have Nate Perkins down on the ground with our very own Kristen Tatar after a fantastic first round. Nate, down to you.
And Kristen, you were just sharing with me that you don't have any phone service up here in the mountains, and you don't actually know what the scores are right now. You want me to fill you in on that? You shot a 9 under par, and you're leading the field by 4. What do you have to say about that?
Well, it seems pretty solid. I'm happy with that. I mean, the course is pretty straightforward. I feel I can birdie every hole here, so it's just a matter of executing and making your putts, and yeah, I feel good about the round.
And so how do you feel like that affects, or how do you feel like not knowing the scores like comes into play, if at all?
I mean, during the first round, it doesn't come into play at all. I usually don't check them because I don't feel the need. But during the last round, after Waco, I've learned that I have to check the scores. So, yeah, I would prefer to know what's going on, you know?
And we came into today really preparing for some inclement weather, and then it turned out to be pretty pleasant out there, huh?
Yes, it wasn't too bad. I actually got really hot during the round, so I wish I had like shorts and a short sleeved polo. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that it's not cold like it was last week, and it wasn't too bad.
And so there on 18, that was your only Circle 1 miss of the round. And you seem somewhat disappointed in that miss. Are you able to look back on, a 25-foot putt like that and identify, what you did wrong there?
Yeah, I think my mind was already finished with the round, and I didn't really focus enough, and subconsciously thought that maybe if I like hit the cage or something, it could roll away. That's what I think happened. I obviously tried to make it, but it was so awful. But I mean, just one miss during the entire round, it's okay.
All right, and last question for you. What do you and the rest of the Europeans that you're traveling with think of this setting here in the mountains of North Carolina?
It's easily one of my favorite spots. I would love to come back here. I mean, it feels like a vacation. There's so much like activities to do after the round, and that's what I like, just to be like surrounded by beautiful nature. I feel it nurtures the soul, really. Yeah.
All right, Kristen. Well, congrats on the 9 under par effort, and Luke Humphreys and I will be sure to let you know the next time we're going digging for crystals in the area.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we are back in the booth, joined here with Juliana Korver. Great first day of the tournament, and Kristen looked fantastic. And like she said, what a beautiful place to play disc golf.
Yeah, I like how she put it. It nurtures the soul. This scenery here nurtures the soul. So I think watching Kristen play can nurture the soul for disc golf fans as well.
What can the rest of the field learn from the way Kristen is playing this course? I mean, she's winning by 4, and it looks like she potentially could have taken even more strokes on the field.
She knows when she can score, and she's not trying to push it when she can't. So we saw her lay up a couple of other opportunities that she had in order to not potentially roll away into an OB or a hazard. She just played it very smart and took advantage when she could.
Well, bogey-free out here with all the treacherous basket placements is certainly a solid round. We're going to toss it to a quick break, but when we come back, OTB After Show, OTB Shot of the Day. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you right in a few.
One thing we all love about disc golf is it's a lifetime sport. Whether you play pro, am, juniors, or senior grandmasters, we all want to play this sport as much as we want and for as long as we want. This can introduce wear over time, potentially hindering your ability to continue playing. A cart reduces the cumulative stress on your body that comes with repetitive motions such as reaching down and lifting. This will help keep you on the course, maximizing your athletic potential and playing your best.
Disc golf education is important because it prolongs the length of our sport and the popularity of our sport, and the most receiving of disc golf is children. So if we get that introduced to them young, they might grow up to be the next Paul Macbeth or the next Paige Pierce, and we don't know it.
Yeah, if you want to keep it in the fairway on a wooded course, throw a wombat 3.
Great Lakes Disc, located in Grand Rapids, Michigan, is a fully stocked retail disc golf store that fulfills all of your disc golf needs. We carry all of the major manufacturers, accessories, and offer player and event sponsorship, along with tournament payout assistance. To learn more about Great Lakes Disc, visit greatlakesdisc.com.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you just got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
Kristen Tatar, 9 under par, clean, bogey-free round, and not only bogey-free, OB-free, Juliana.
That is hard to do out here, and you mentioned it earlier today that those who are able to stay away from the OB will likely score well, and she certainly did.
Well, I said that if you went OB free and you also didn't get a lot of birdies, you'd score well. But unfortunately, with Kristen in the field, you're going to have to birdie half the holes to catch her in this round 1. And like you said, she just looked comfortable. And she mentioned earlier in the week how much she absolutely loves this area. The mountains are not as prevalent in Finland and Estonia, so I think for them, like she said, it feels like a vacation playing disc golf out here, and it just seemed like everything was going her way.
She had such beautiful control on both her forehands and her backhands today.
And it almost never looks like she's stressed out when she's playing like this, and you see players, you know, maybe just as talented, if not maybe more so, throwing all these aggressive shots and trying to do all this spectacular stuff here. But Kristen's just golfing her way to incredible scores. And like she said, she was already done with the round. She was content with the 9 under on that final putt. But tomorrow's lead card, Kristen Tatar, Sarah Hokum, Hannah Wynn, and Jessica Weiss. It's going to be a great day out at the Boulders course. And with the OTB shot of the day coming up, JK, do you have any guesses?
I think it has to be Sarah's throw-in on hole 14.
I don't think there's any other contender, to be honest with you. What an incredible shot. We'll just have to see. What a surprise. Started off the year with an ace at the accuracy competition at the All-Star event. First throw-in of the year, and then now, okay. Wow.
She's becoming known for her fairway hits.
I mean, I guess that's one way to attack a mound green, is to not putt on it at all. Throw in for eagle and chase that thing down. What a shot from Sarah Hokum. And don't go anywhere for too long. We have more broadcast coming up. The MPO round on the Disc Golf Network begins at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And yet again tomorrow and Sunday, 9:30 a.m. for the FPO coverage. We are staying consistent throughout the weekend here on the Disc Golf Network. If you watch today on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the Disc Golf Network and catch all of the disc golf action all season long. We will see you out there.